What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So we got some new information here released on President Donald Trump's tariffs. Also, Speaker Mike Johnson gives us a lot of details here on the big, beautiful bill, on the debt that it's going to, or what he says will or will not add to the national deficit, as well as millions of people potentially losing health care in the deal. And we're going to get a lot of information from Speaker Mike Johnson in this video. You'll get to hear directly from him. And we're going to jump right in, and you'll get to hear from him right now in this video. So let's jump right in. We are live right now here on the YouTube It's Jimmy Show. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Type yes in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. You can let me know your city, state, or even your country, as we have people tuning in here from all around the globe. Don't forget to hit that like button for me here. And if you haven't yet, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future videos. Hit the bell icon so you get notifications, and help me reach 500,000 subscribers. You guys are amazing. So remember, this quote, big, beautiful bill, which is the actual name of it, has already passed the House of Representatives and is now going to the Senate, where it could face some major changes. This bill has a lot of good things in it and some bad things in it, depending on your point of view, including a $4,000 boost or credit for seniors, $2,500 tax credit, child tax credit for families, and there's a lot of things in it. Yeah, so including lowering all of the tax brackets, so less taxes for basically all Americans, which is a good thing. I mean, nobody wants to pay more taxes, so less taxes for pretty much every tax bracket. And I have a video covering all of the different things here that I'll link you to here later in this video, so you guys can watch that here as well. This is why you want to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Completely free to subscribe. Okay, so click that subscribe button. So take a look here. I'll cover this here briefly. Trump advisors defend tariffs amid legal fight, insisting, quote, they're not going away. As remember that a court here struck down the Trump's ability to even place tariffs at all. And President Donald Trump's top economic advisors insisted today that the tariffs aren't going anywhere despite the legal challenge, and is now could wind up ultimately at the Supreme Court. They said that ultimately, if the tariffs do remain blocked, we'll have other alternatives that we can pursue, as well as to make sure that we can make the America trade fair again, without giving specifics on how they will do that. So I will keep you up to date on that. A lot of people are concerned that these are raising prices for anything being imported, whether from China, European Union, Canada, Mexico, India, wherever. So I'll keep you up to date on that, as inflation is now starting to become a worry yet again. Take a listen to House Speaker Mike Johnson, who is going over a lot of the questions being asked here today. Take a listen.
And joining me now is the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson of Louisiana. Speaker Johnson, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Hey, great to be with you as always.
It is great to have you back. Let's start right there talking about what is now officially called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Here's what Elon Musk had to say about it. Take a listen.
I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
And Mr. Speaker, a number of Senate Republicans share Elon Musk's concerns that it will add to the debt and deficit. So how do you convince your Republican Senate colleagues to get on board and support this bill?
Well, I convinced my friends and colleagues by use of the facts. I sent a long text message to my good friend Elon Musk after he made those comments the other day, to explain this is not a spending bill. This is a reconciliation package. It is reconciling a budget. So there is some additional spending, as you noted earlier at the opening, for national security, for historic investments in border security, the largest in generations, because those are necessary expenditures. But what my friends are missing is the tremendous and historic level of spending cuts that are also in the same package. So a lot of the analysis that people are pointing to is from groups, for example, like the Congressional Budget Office, the CBO. They have projected anemic economic growth. They're assuming a growth level of 1.8% over the next 10 years. Kristen, never in U.S. history has the U.S. economy sustained less than 2% economic growth over a 10-year period. What's going to happen here is exactly the opposite. We're going to have historic growth because we're basing this on the history of the recent past. Remember, in the first Trump administration, the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, the CBO was off in its estimates of that one by $1.5 trillion, okay, because they underestimated the incredible growth that would be brought about. This is going to be jet fuel. The reason we call it the Big Beautiful Bill is because it is a tremendous pro-growth package entwined in this legislation that is going to make everybody's incomes go up. There's going to be more job opportunity, more opportunity to climb up that economic ladder in America, because job creators, entrepreneurs, and risk takers will have the government off their backs. They will have lower taxes, and they will be expanding their businesses. We're incentivizing U.S. manufacturing again. We're bringing jobs back to the U.S. That's going to help everybody, all boats rise, like we did in 2017, except this time it's on steroids.
Well, it is worth noting that some budget experts say that in 2017, actually, the CBO was pretty right when you adjusted for inflation. But let me read you something that you said back in 2021 about the CBO. This was in relation to a Democratic bill. You said the CBO has confirmed this bill adds nearly $400 billion to the deficit, contrary to the White House's claim that the bill is paid for. So do you only believe the CBO when a Democrat is president, Mr. Speaker?
No, this is very easy to explain. The CBO sometimes gets projections correct, but they're always off every single time when they project economic growth. They always underestimate the growth that will be brought about by tax cuts and reduction in regulations. Look, when we did this in 2017, the first 2 years of the Trump administration, we literally brought about the greatest economy in the history of the world, not just the U.S., because we got the government off the backs of the people who create the jobs, and we allowed hardworking Americans to have more money in their pocket that they could take home. We're doing that again. Remember, in this Big Beautiful Bill, the reason we call it that is because there's benefits for everybody. It's geared for hardworking Americans, lower and middle income Americans. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on interest on car loans if you buy products made in the USA. We're going to give relief to seniors on Social Security. There's so many benefits and features in this bill, and it's going to allow everybody to do better. And at the same time, projecting and ensuring the largest amount of savings literally in history. There's no government on planet Earth that's ever saved over $1.6 trillion in a piece of legislation. This one does. And so when you reduce government spending and you allow people to keep more of their hard-earned money, the economy grows, and that's exactly what's going to happen here.
Well, the Joint Committee on Taxation is projecting just 0.03% on growth. But let me just ask you, I want you to address the concerns of your colleagues, Senator Ron Johnson, Senator Rand Paul. Why doesn't this bill do more to address the debt and deficit, Mr. Speaker?
Yeah, well, listen, I agree with my good friend Ron Johnson, for example, a lot of the comments that he stated about government spending. We have a north of $36 trillion federal debt right now, and it is the largest national security concern for the U.S. I am a fiscal hawk. Many of my Republican colleagues in the House feel the same way. But we didn't get in this situation overnight, Kristen. It took us decades, many decades of Congress's, frankly, mismanagement of the public fisc to get in this situation. And the last 4 years of the Biden administration increased spending dramatically. So it's going to take us a while to get out of it. We can't flip a magic switch and reverse it overnight. But this is the largest step forward in the right direction that Congress has ever made. I liken this to an aircraft carrier. You don't turn an aircraft carrier on a dime. It takes a mile of open ocean. This is the biggest turn in that wheel that we would have had in generations. And this is the first of a number of steps. This is a key point. This is not the only reconciliation bill. We're going to have a second budget reconciliation bill that follows after this, and we're beginning next week the appropriations process, which is the spending bills for government. And you're going to see a lot of the DOGE cuts and a lot of this new fiscal restraint reflected in what Congress does next. So stay tuned. This is not the end-all be-all. I tell my friends, my fellow fiscal hawks, we've got to get our fiscal house in order, and this is an incredibly and historic first start.
Now, first of all, that was some big information right there. They're going to have another reconciliation bill coming. If you guys have watched me before, I've always said there can be more than one reconciliation bill. They can use this multiple times. He just said it right there. So there's going to be more that is coming. Reconciliation bills come when one party controls the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and they can pass those bills completely on their own without any votes. In this case, the Republicans can pass this bill without any Democratic votes. And there can be money in there. Remember, Biden passed the $1,400 stimulus checks in theirs, and in this case, there's the $4,000 boost or credit for seniors, $2,500 tax credits for the child tax credits, lowering of all tax brackets. There's all sorts of things in there. I'll link you to the video here next. They're going to have another one. And then we could see the DOGE $5,000 stimulus checks, or the approval process of that, to which Trump can just send them out through executive orders. I personally believe Trump can just send them out through executive orders at any given time, even just without the approval of it through this bill. I think that they can just send it out through executive order at any given time just with the executive orders. But that's a very interesting point that he makes there, that there is going to be another reconciliation bill coming for sure. We just heard it.
If the big, beautiful bill does add to the debt, will President Trump own that?
It's not going to add to the debt, but I can tell you that President Trump is laser focused on two primary things: delivering on his campaign promises and the America First agenda, which is what a record number of 77 million voters, popular votes, requested and demanded and gave us a mandate to do. But he's also concerned, as I am, as Ron Johnson is, as Rand Paul is, as all of us are, about the nation's debt. And he and I talk about this frequently, and he is excited about changing that trajectory. That President Trump, I think, can be the most consequential president of the modern era because he has these opportunities to do these big things. The One Big Beautiful Bill is a big first step to provide relief for the American people, to give everybody more take-home pay, more money in their pocket, and to change the trajectory of the country. And again, it's the first of a number of steps, and President Trump is committed to doing this.
Mr. Speaker, the Joint Committee on Taxation, the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, the Tax Foundation, the Penn Wharton budget model all say this will add trillions of dollars to the deficit. Are you really telling the American people this will not add one penny to the debt and deficit? You can guarantee that?
I am telling you, this is going to reduce the deficit. I mean, you cite some of these figures. Do you know what their economic growth projections are? The Committee for Responsible Budgeting, they're not even, I don't think they're assuming any economic growth. I mean, that's not realistic. A lot of these groups use what they call static scoring and not dynamic scoring. Dynamic scoring, in layman's terms, is reality. That we are going to spur on tremendous economic growth here. And so you're going to have a higher job participation number in the economy. You're going to have higher wages. You're going to have more jobs provided. And in addition to that, the president's extraordinary policies are producing great things for the country. The tariff policy that was so controversial in the beginning is having an extraordinary effect on the U.S. economy. It's going to bring more jobs and billions of dollars of investment, trillions of dollars of investment back to the U.S. All these things are working in tandem. And I'm telling you, this, just wait. We'll have plenty of time for this to all shake out before the next election cycle, the mid-year for Congress, and everyone will see they're going to be doing a lot better for that election.
All right, let's move on to Medicaid now. As you know, that's a big part of the debate as well. Here's what the American Hospital Association is warning. It writes, quote, the sheer magnitude of the level of reductions to the Medicaid program alone will impact all parties. Hospitals, especially in rural and underserved areas, will be forced to make difficult decisions about whether they will have to reduce services, reduce staff, and potentially consider closing their doors. Republican Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri calling this a hospital tax, Mr. Speaker. So does the House bill put rural hospitals and, frankly, the most vulnerable Americans at risk?
No, and you can underscore what I'm about to tell you. There are no Medicaid cuts in the big, beautiful bill. We're not cutting Medicaid. What we're doing is strengthening the program. We're reducing fraud, waste, and abuse that is rampant in Medicaid to ensure that program is essential for so many people, ensure that it's available for the most vulnerable. It's intended for young, single pregnant women and the disabled and the elderly. But what's happening right now is you have a lot of people, for example, young men, able-bodied workers who are on Medicaid. They're not working when they can. That drains resources from the people that need it most. And so what we're doing here is an important and frankly heroic thing to preserve the program so that it doesn't become insolvent. This is not going to hurt rural hospitals. There's a lot of flexibility built into this. They keep saying that 7.6 million people is the figure that is supposedly going to be affected by this. But when you look at those numbers and you break them down, this is high on public opinion polling. You're talking about 1.4 million illegal aliens that are receiving Medicaid right now. They're not entitled to that. This is for U.S. citizens in those vulnerable populations. There's about 4.8 million people that they're referring to. They're able-bodied workers. If you are able to work and you're not, and you are riding on the public wagon, you need to help pull it. And by the way, Kristen, this is no draconian requirement. All we're requiring in the legislation is 20 hours a week. You can volunteer in your community, you can be in a job training program, or you can get to work. And this is my message to young men around the country who are taking advantage of the system. It is abusing the system. We're going to fix that. And I'm telling you, that is a very popular thing among the American people because it comports with common sense.
Well, let's talk about that 4.8 million number. That is a CBO number, by the way, which estimates how many people would lose Medicaid if this bill were to go into law. The CBO.
No, wait, hold on. They don't, Kristen, they don't.
Wait,
okay.
Let me make my point, and then I'll let you make your point. I think it's important to point out the CBO is not saying specifically those 4.8 million are engaging in fraud. They say many will lose coverage because of paperwork, red tape, or failing and falling short of the new rules. So just let me ask you directly, do you have any actual proof that these people are engaging in fraud? Millions of Americans, as you say.
This is a very important distinction. Those 4.8 million people will not lose their Medicaid unless they choose to do so. I will go into any town hall in any district in America and explain what this is, and every single person will nod their heads and go, oh, that makes sense. You're telling me that you're going to require the able-bodied, these young men, for example, okay, to only work or volunteer in their community for 20 hours a week, and that's too cumbersome for them? I'm not buying it. The American people are not buying it. This is a new requirement. It should have been put in a long time ago. And the people who are complaining that these people are going to lose their coverage because they can't fulfill the paperwork, this is minor enforcement of this policy, and it follows common sense. When people work, when able-bodied young men work, it's good for them, for their dignity, their purpose, and it's good for the community they're in. If you can't find a job, then volunteer in your community for 20 hours and you will meet the requirement. That is a basic minimal standard.
Very quickly, because we're almost out of time, Mr. Speaker, do you have any actual evidence that these people that you refer to are engaging in fraud?
Well, there is a tremendous amount of fraud in Medicaid. It's undisputed. Tens of billions of dollars every year are lost in fraud to Medicaid. So there's another category of people, 1.2 million, that are totally ineligible to be on the program. We also have evidence of people who are listed and enrolled in multiple programs in multiple states simultaneously, and they are cheating the system. I'm going to say this very clearly. Our legislation preserves Medicaid, strengthens Medicaid for the people who actually need it and deserve it, and we're going to get rid of the fraud, waste, and abuse, and that is a long time overdue.
So there you have it, the new work requirements that are going to make it more difficult, which is ultimately going to lead to people not getting Medicaid. He keeps mentioning men, but obviously it's not going to be just for men. but also for women. So you guys can let me know your thoughts on this as we start to get more and more details here directly from the speaker. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section. Okay, briefly, I mentioned this here on the last video, but the United States has filed a False Claims Act on complaints against 3 national health insurance companies and 3 brokers alleging against unlawful kickbacks and discrimination against disabled Americans. So if you or any loved ones are on Medicare, Medicare Advantage, or any Medicare services, this is why I recommend Chapter Medicare. Chapter Medicare was actually founded because their parents got scammed and they're trying to change the system. And they actually have a proprietary system where they can scan through every Medicare, Medicare Advantage, Medicare provider in the entire country to find you or your loved ones the best plan for you, or can save you tons of money. And on average, they actually save people that use their services, which is completely free, about $1,100 on average, with these benefits, or actually put money back in your Social Security check. So I have a phone number here on the screen or a pinned comment link down below where you can contact them, and their services are completely free, which is really amazing because this putting money back in your Social Security check is very, very beneficial for a lot of people right now, because we know times are tough for a lot of people. So feel free to click that link down below in the comment section, or call that phone number for Chapter Medicare. Their services are completely free. Make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future updates. It's completely free to do so. Click the bell icon so you get notifications, and share this video with anybody that needs to hear this information. And I will keep you up to date here on everything going on here on a daily basis that you need to know about. Click here to see more details of the bill that has passed the House of Representatives that has a lot of good things and a lot of bad things in it. And you can see more of that here in this video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.